my one, my JP. That's it.
My synth 142. Crank it up, and
Yeah.
and is he the trance chesto that we all know from back then? I don't know. We'll have to see. But I would love to do another track with him.
Wow.
Welcome everyone to this very special podcast. This is Jimmy. I am joined here with Ferry Corsten and Ruben de Ronde. We'll be talking about their latest release called Rise Up, and they'll be answering your questions right here on this podcast. Ferry, Ruben, are you guys ready to start?
Yes, sir.
Yep, all good.
All right, let's begin with a little bit of the backstory on how all this started. So take it away, guys, while we filter out the questions.
Well, thank you, Jimmy, for the introduction and for setting up this beautiful surroundings that we have. Ferry showing off the synths. I kind of have to do that too. Like, okay, show off my one, my JP. That's it.
My synth.
My synth. You have a whole synth direct there. I mean, there has to be a difference in things, I would say. But yeah, thanks again, Jimmy, for the introduction. It's nice to see everybody here in the chat already, and it's cool to do this little question and answer session. It's Ferry Corsten, of course, ladies and gentlemen. So let's start at the very first beginning. This is our third, sort of fourth team up. Third.
Yeah, it is actually.
Yeah. We started off with Bloodstream, which was the result of us spending a lot of time together in the AStateofTrance studio during lockdowns. Which was a little bit more laid back than we did, of course. The new In A Way early this year. And we also did Destination, which is sort of a collab as well. Even though we didn't do a lot together, I would say, because we were separate in two different studios as well. But for this one, this was a proper one, I would say. Because take it away, Ferry. How did it come about?
Well, it was really funny because obviously we were both playing this last February at AStateofTrance in Rotterdam, and we were scheduled to do a back-to-back set as the opening set, right, for Main. And you actually came over to my place here just to basically go over some of the music that we were going to play, just to have a bit of a guideline, what tracks and how do we do the build-up and all of this. And I think we sort of carved out a few hours for that. Yeah. But I think we were done within within the hour. Pretty much we had it, right? So what to do with our time, Yeah. Did you have anything else planned? No, me neither. So all right, well, maybe just for fun, let's just make another track. Yeah. So and I think how long did it take us to do this?
I think the first setup it started with the little I think that's synth setup, and then things just got together really, really. One thing I have to say is that if you ever make it to the studio with Ferry, well, you never know if there's people in here that might be. It's crazy to see how fast Ferry turns around ideas into actual songs, and it's also funny whenever I have an idea in my head, how fast you can translate that also into the computer. So it's funny how this whole process was so fast, and everything just came about so fast. And I think the main idea was there already in like 30 minutes or like an hour or something like that, I would say. And then, the beats were done really fast. The bass line, the first part was also done even before the main melody, I think. So everything just came together really, really fast.
But it was funny because obviously we were just coming out of a mindset of like an opening set for a big event, right? So we're thinking of like deeper stuff, building into more energetic stuff. But here we were going almost like straight into 142, crank it up, and but also I think if you listen to the track, what was really cool, this always shows a bit of like all the different ideas that we had all at once all coming together in one track, because it has in a way, it has a bit of a techno rumble kick. It has that
the Medics plugin,
and then further on in the track, it goes into that sort of like
assets,
new
like
wavy
a
trance type of stuff. Yeah, that also, and with that offbeat bass, really short, snappy, bouncy stuff, with a very short, staccato type of melody. I don't know. Everything's in there that's happening at the moment, right? It's all current stuff.
Yeah.
So,
and I really feel that it kind of reflects what we're both doing in our DJ sets as well. Everything goes a little bit faster. It's a little bit more fun. It's not too serious. Like if you would say, I would say Bloodstream was a very sort of a serious record, like a proper song and different way how the sounds were crafted, which is more of that time. And here we are in 2025. Everything's just allowed. So we can just do whatever. And it felt a little bit like that when we were sitting in the studio, that we were just allowed to do everything that we came up with straight away. So that was super nice.
And what I noticed as well in this track is like we got to a point coming from tracks like Bloodstream and coming from Destination, the collab, and New in a Way, where those tracks definitely Bloodstream was way more produced and more polished and stuff, right? And then the complexity of Destination also versus this one, it's almost like really the concept of less is more applied, because I remember getting to a point where we felt like, does it need something more? Because we felt like it's so little that's in here. It's so simple. And then you get to a point where coming from that, that polished mindset into this, where all of a sudden
you've been doing the last, let's say, 15 years. Yeah. Yeah,
exactly. Right. More and more polished and more cleaned up and productive, production, little bits and pieces, right? And then you get to this, and then inside, like, it's good, but your mind says like, yeah, but it can be good because it's just so simple, right? And I know that we've been trying to put more stuff in, and everything we put in was like, nah, it's too much. No, it takes away the focus. Yeah. So, this was a fun sort of eye-opening type of production for me, honestly, with going back to less is more.
I see a question straight away in the chat from Aiden. He says, which is a good question actually, what makes you feel like you were not allowed to do that before?
That's a really good question. Who tells us what? Look, if there's one type of music out there, it's actually dance music that has always been the dance music where no rules were written. You just do things, and it's over the years that I think many producers can agree with us, DJ producers basically. When you have a certain fan base behind you, there's a certain expectation by that fan base for a next track. And if it doesn't sound like this, boo-hoo you, how could you do this? And I think it's the power of... This is not this sound or trance or house or whatever, or you shouldn't do this. And it's, I don't know, somehow unwritten rules are written, it's crazy, and it's probably our own mistake for believing in those rules.
Right? Oh yeah.
But it really is true that, just do what you like and see, hey, people like it or don't. And really that's as simple as it is. But
I think it also has to do a little bit with the new wave and generation of artists which is really weird because they never experienced those times, but because they were not born yet. But still they bring the vibes of, let's say, 98, 99, or even a little bit earlier, which was just music produced for the dance floor, and the simplicity really works. So I think that's
honestly, if I go back to I think if I go back to those days, the ones you mentioned, like mid-90s, right? When I was just going clubbing myself, I think me and my friends, we never really spoke about all these different genres, techno or trance or this or that. It was all, at least in Holland, for me, it was all house music. Everything was just house. Yeah. So, and all these genres and the subgenres and the subgenres and the sub genres that you find on Beatport, all made it very confusing for everyone. And I'm really happy that you talk about this new wave trance producers, but maybe it's wider than that. Maybe it's like the post-COVID generation of DJ producers that are out there. They don't have that pigeonholing mentality. Yeah, very open format. Everything is allowed. Everything is possible, and the crazier the better, which is fantastic. I love it. Back there.
Very true. Very true. So after that studio session, we got it mastered really quick, sort of. Good enough for the dance floor, I would say. And then we actually premiered it in our set. And I remember playing it into our set. We both knew, especially the first drop. We kind of knew it already. And if you see our set, it's on YouTube. If you see our set, then we're excited to play that record. You already see okay, we can't wait for this first drop to come in. And I remember playing it for the first time, and no one's heard it before. So even because I didn't produce it on Twitch or whatever, because it was all done with you guys. I remember just the excitement of playing this record for the first time in the Ahoy was just off the charts, and it's one of the coolest memories that I'll have of this record for sure.
Funny, I can't even remember if it had the vocal already. It did, right?
It had, yeah, it had, yeah.
Yeah.
So we're a few months later, and then we just got everything finished because the low end was not the way that we wanted to have it, and that was the only part that was kind of not doing it for us. And then in the end, I think we played it together in Malta also when I played, and you jumped in on the decks with me, and that was a cool moment as well. I think that was the moment that it was actually done, and then we had to wait to release it, but it didn't take as long as the new Inner Way, luckily. So
it was over a year. Yeah.
So Jimmy, take it away. Throw in some questions.
All right. This first question comes from Anto Kampav. What was the biggest challenge of this track?
The biggest challenge? I think
honestly, not. Yeah,
there was no struggles.
Honestly, for me, I think the one that I just described, being okay with it being simple and accepting that it was just like, this is it. Don't do anything more than this. And of course, then some mixing issues at the end. But I think really put your foot down on the brake. Say, okay, this is enough. Don't overdo it because you ruin it. And but that was it, really. Yeah,
I agree. It was not a complicated process at all. So, which was really nice.
Someone we know very well in this community as a state mate, Ross. He asks, when can we expect a fourth collab?
Never say never. Never say never. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, if we want to, we do another opening set for AStateofTrance.
Yeah, or something like that. If we have, I don't know. I guess if we have something on the horizon that we're gonna do together, then why not? Because I think we have very similar ideas to music and enjoy just hanging out together as well. So it's always a pleasure.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Also from Ross, Bloodstream, New Inner Way, or Rise Up. Which is your personal favorite and why?
It's really difficult, you know what?
I'm
you
not
first, Ruben.
No, I'm not going to
Gives me time to think.
No.
You know what? Okay,
No.
I think I can say it's really tough to make a decision between Bloodstream and the faster ones, because Bloodstream is definitely a different type of genre. If we're talking about the original, obviously Bang Golden Banging remix, and Cubicore, but the original. So that was. I think the purpose of the track was different.
Different
compared
times.
to New Inner Way. Yeah, New Inner Way and Rise Up. But out of the other two, if I have to pick, both are bangers, but this is the fresh one. So right now I'm feeling like, I feel this one a bit more than New Inner Way, right? But they're all fun tracks. they were all made in a fun environment. Let's put it that way. So it was all fun and good.
I'd like to mention some comments from socials that we've gathered. That's becoming a recurring theme where people keep talking about this incredible creative chemistry you both have. Now, relating it back to this latest release, how do you feel Rise Up has been received?
About the crowd reaction, you mean?
Yes, crowd reactions, the listeners, socials.
I think very positive. I think straight away it was called differently. There was an ID straight away. People were trying to ID the track, and I can't remember what it was called, but people named it differently. But yeah, it has been received very well straight away. Of course, there's always people saying that it's not what they like, but you know what? It doesn't really matter to me because you see that it's being received very broad by a lot of other artists as well, playing it in their sets. So yeah, it's a fun track.
Yeah, what I also think is like, Ruben and I both are, how can I say it in the right way? We're pretty diverse DJs, and also producers. Yeah. Some of Ruben's tracks are slower, deeper, more progressive. Some of them are more up tempo. Same with me, slower, progressive, deeper techno, electro, house, whatever.
Yeah,
and also Ruben's. This is purely how I see it, right? I think also Ruben's involvement with AStateofTrance and hearing so much music and dealing with the fans also there in the studio and feeling that out. I think when we are in the studio, it's not just sort of like a written formula straight away. Like, we're making a standard 140 banging trance, uplifting trance track because that's the only thing we do, right? It could go. I could come up with an idea that's more like a house track, and then Ruben comes in like, yeah, but what if we do this at like whatever BPM, So it could go really all over, and I think that's what you hear in Bloodstream, and then New Inaway, and then this one. They're pretty diverse, but I guess there's in a way there's also a bit of a signature in there. And I think that's just really coming from the broad spectrum of music that we both enjoy making and producing and playing, really.
Yeah, I think the diversity is really key here as well. And they were both, play a lot of sets, so you bring a lot of experience from the dance floor, or the current dance floor, with you in the studio as well. So I guess it's a combination of everything. So of course the chemistry that we have is super nice, and then the same feeling that we have for music, and also that there's no real rules. I feel that as well, and which makes it super nice to work with Fer.
I really like the fact that you said no rules, and that's a really fun time in this whole experimental phase.
Yeah.
If you had to choose one genre to describe what this sound is, these collaborations, what would you guys choose as a word?
I think genres are something from the past, to be honest.
Yeah, I know. That's hard, right? Melodic bangers, let's put it that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice
if you put it in the broad perspective of the last, say, 30 years, this would go into what we called in 1999 and 2000 club trance. That's where
trance.
It is.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. So like what Richard Durant did in the past with G-Spot and stuff like that. I think that would be the spot where you could put it if you want to. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that should be a coined genre. We should.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So moving into another question from PLR 108. Did you and Ferry use your voices in Rise Up?
Here we go.
That's a bit of a secret.
That's a secret sauce right there.
Secret sauce. No, we could tell the real story. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So at first we were like, okay, we had the synth, we had the bass, we had everything done so fast. So we were like, okay, we should add some sort of catchy vocal in there. just to get it like something extra. And what we actually did is ding ding AI ding ding. We asked AI to come up with a certain lyric, and then it was created, I think, in Suno, and then we took out the vocals from Suno and then put it into another in Sound Labs, I think, and then it was not good enough. So in the end, what happened, correct me if I'm wrong, Ferry, is that Ferry recorded his voice, changed the vocals around, and then made it from a male vocal into female vocal, and that's the end.
Yeah.
So in the end, it would have been faster just to do it the other way, but.
We had a really, and at first we had with these 4 lines, and we had it done by Suno, and it turned out to be like a really big bro rapper, and it sounded really, really bad, you know. And it's like, okay, then we tried to put that voice into. I think we asked Suno to come up with female voices, and it never really worked out. The cadence wouldn't be right, or the sort of energy of certain words and the accents wouldn't be good. So I think then the best way then to do it is like, okay, how should it sound? Okay, so I grabbed the mic here and did that. Well, you never really want to hear that take, I promise you. You can never hear this record again for what it really is. But after like a bit of tweaking with my voice into the right sort of with the timing and the notes, basically through Melodyne, and then imported it into Arimi, and then you have like a whole list of vocalists to choose from, and then still, it's not just one thing fixes all. It's just a bit of tweaking.
Good.
Yeah, you need to. It's funny when because I know when you mention the word AI, a lot of people are like, like, now what? But it's not like one AI, or the AI is the one solution for everything. It's a combination of a lot of these different AI platforms to bring certain things together, and then there's a lot of tweaking going on before you have a final result. So it's that you can really use, and at least
because
that's my experience with that.
The first version we had a male vocal, and the timing was differently. So when you send in the next version, when it was suddenly a female vocal and the timing was differently, I had to get used to it. But in the end, it worked out very nicely. So Jimmy, let's do some fast questions because we have a lot of questions.
So that's it.
Yeah.
He says, hello to both of you. His question is, what are the top 3 tracks you would like to remix from each other? I don't know if we'll have time to do 3. Let's at least choose 1. And he's looking forward to seeing you at Soundcheck next Friday.
Oh, nice. Cool. Yeah, it's going to be fun. Looking forward to DC. Awesome. Well, I told you that many times in the studio, Ruben, at ASOT, like your Away From Me track. I think that vocal is just, it's beautiful. So that track in general is really, really good. So I would definitely say that one for me.
So which track do I want to remix of Ferry? There's so many. I would say, Here We Go Again.
Here we go again. That's really
I think to be honest, maybe one of the Betsy tunes. We're all made of
Made of Love. Or
I think Made of Love would be nice. But there's so many.
Cool.
There's
good choice.
I mean, Ferry has like, I don't know, 1,000 tracks, or at least produced throughout the year. So yeah, it's so hard to choose. There's so many good ones.
It's a number. Yes.
So, there's one. I would say Sweet Sorrow. Sweet Sorrow is definitely one.
Ah, nice one. Yeah. Yeah, that melody still is
very, very good. Yeah.
I don't know, man. I was so thinking you would have said something like Fire.
Oh yeah, no, it's too easy. I could say punk, for example, or any Goriella.
It's too obvious, right? Yeah.
Too obvious, yeah.
So our next question comes from Simon, which happens to be one of our Twitch mods, and we take a little moment to thank everyone, all of our mods that have joined to help on this last minute. Des, a special thank you. We have from Team Ferry, Leah, and the whole team that has been just working so hard in the back end to bring this. And we also say thank you to Ellen for gathering all of the questions we have on stream today. So Simon asks, having heard the track Rise Up several times, including at the Luminosity Festival, did you both know Rise Up was going to be used for the Luminosity After movie?
Yeah, I think so. Probably honestly, that's probably fair. Yeah.
I don't think it. I don't think I knew about this. They did send us when the video came in, they had it on there, and I was like, okay, this is really cool, because when I think of Luminosity, I think of a certain type of trance, more like the uplifting,
the
type of stuff.
Trance,
that's really, for me, when I hear Luminosity, that's what I want for me. So I know that this track could be a bit challenging for the true Luminosity fans. So I did not expect this track to be picked as their after movie track, which I find it very cool, though. Just step out of
super cool.
The usual
hey, who
thing.
knows?
Yeah,
maybe we'll hear it. Maybe we'll hear it at a football game as a pump up song. Yeah, you never know.
Yeah, it would be nice. Yeah, you never know.
Next question comes from Maciel Lusky. Please tell me I said that right, Ruben.
The guy's a Mikaluski.
Mikaluski. Okay.
I was close when I say it like that. No, it's Machi. Martin, basically.
I see.
But he'll kill me. Oh my god, I slay his name all the time. Sorry. Macy Lusky. Sorry. Yeah.
How do you pronounce that name? Machi Saluski. This is Machi Saluski.
So coming back to the question, he says the bass line reminds me of a track called It's Our Future by AWEX. What other artists or classics do you draw inspiration from when it comes to the old school sound?
Oh, like that inspired us for these kind of tracks?
Yeah.
I definitely Riva was an inspiration. Let's say Signum, Ferry's own old tracks. Like there's just so much inspiration to come from everywhere. I mean, there's so much classics that you can listen to nowadays that give an inspiration to not necessarily recreate, but there's so much ideas from the past. Like what Ferry said also earlier, is that those tunes were so much easier the way they were constructed and the way they were arranged, and it was not 2.5, 3 minute breakdowns. It was literally 15 seconds, 30 seconds with the beat still going and the melody comes in, and that's it. So I think that's that's overall the older stuff.
I think also that when you talk about the bass line, I mean, the track has two different type of bass lines, right? It has that that more like, that track was almost like that came almost more from like the old Mara Picotto type of vibes, right? That we were talking about. And then you have this little offbeat bass, that really jumpy bass in the second part when the riff comes in. I don't know. That's just there's not
there's even
something
3,
like,
I think.
There's a little 16th going over the top, I think, as well. But I mean, that offbeat bass is there's not really one person that inspired us to do that, right? I mean, that was just a thing that was done back in those days. Like every track had that. So but also the guys that you just mentioned, Ruben, like Signum. That's like the typical club trance sound that they used to have, with those little, groovy little house loops sped up. That's what's in here too. So yeah, definitely. It's all the different ingredients from 2.5 decades ago, I'd say.
Yeah, it sort of comes naturally after all these years being, producing and just having these libraries.
I was just thinking about that. Yeah, because I just have like a whole pile of all these old sample CDs.
Yeah.
That's the stuff that was used back then, and back then is back now. So I mean, fantastic. It's right here. Yeah.
Next question is from Barbs. Do you guys ever have or had any arguments over creative differences?
That's a good question.
No.
I don't
Not
think
arguments,
so. No.
It's just, you know what the nice thing is when you have this cool collaborative sort of synergy going on. It's you both want to put ideas forward, but you're also both not totally set on it. You know, it's so Ruben suggests something, and I said, "Hey, cool." And if I think like, "Hey, but maybe we can change it like that or that," and you know, it goes back and forth really, and I think that's one of the main, in my opinion, one of the main attitudes that you should have going into a collaboration with someone else is be open-minded about all the ideas that are being thrown your way. And yeah, maybe you can just have another attempt to push your idea through a little more, but be open to the other side's opinion, and that's how you get somewhere in the middle, right?
I think also be patient with the person that you're working with, because sometimes it takes 5 steps to do something, and then you should have the patience to have that idea just being rolled out instead of that you jump in and say no straight away. So
when it comes to deadlines, especially in a collaborative space, what makes it where some collaborations are just effortless, really quick, versus some that I've seen taking years?
I think sometimes a track would just sit on my hard drive for 3-4 years, and then suddenly you bring it back to life again. But I think in our case, with our collaborations, there's always been sort of a deadline, like something that we were looking forward to. It's the same with New In A Way was done for State of Trance last year in Rotterdam, because it was the first edition of Rotterdam. We were doing the back 3 back set with Armin, and we wanted to bring something to the table with the two of us as well. And Bloodstream was, we didn't have a deadline for that one, so it's a bad example. But also this one was also done for a back-to-back set. So I think bringing in a dedeadline sometimes really work, yeah.
Oh yeah, and to what Ruben says, sometimes you have an idea lying around for a long time, and sometimes you just need to just put it away for a while if you're stuck.
Because I think the New In A Way was actually the start of the track, was a track that you had laying around for a longer time as well. Like the beats that were in there. So yeah. All right, more questions.
Yeah.
Tommy P. DJ asks, any EP, Ruben and Ferry, in the near future?
Yeah, again, never say never. I think we have enough tracks already now to do an EP, pretty much. So yeah, never say never. Maybe we should press a vinyl. That should be something. Press a vinyl with all of our collabs.
If we should.
Yeah.
Before we get back to more questions, I'd like to take a moment and remind everybody to take a look at the description below, where we have the link for the official video, and keep an eye on socials for your chance to win the limited edition Rise Up t-shirt. Details are in the description below. The video, as it was a concept that originated out of the blue. It was just a conference call we were having, and Ferry had this really cool drawing he made, which
I feel like a kid from a kindergarten right now. He made such a beautiful drawing.
but it inspired the whole thing, and it turned into the rocket ship that we see, and mixed with sort of bringing back the 80s and 90s, the old video games, and how it turned into
8-bit stuff.
Yes, and I'm gonna put this up on stream really quickly. We have the drawing.
There it is.
Yes.
Ta-da!
The beautifully drawn.
Well, this is what inspired it all, right? And these astronauts were added after. Ferry's actually wearing the limited edition T-shirt at the moment.
I am.
There's the astronauts.
There we go.
Yeah.
Ta-da.
Yeah.
And Ruben, I by the way, I have your shirt here, Ruben. So because it just arrived here today. So there's yours.
Beautifully designed by
long.
Designed by Jimmy and by Tuneware. Big shout out to Tuneware also. I see here a question by Hamza also.
Yeah, go ahead and take that one.
Yeah. Do you think, Ferry, long breakdowns tracks are no longer a preferred Mainstage material?
Yeah, if you're talking about the traditional super long theatrical big filmic drums type of breakdowns, super dramatic for on a big festival's main stage, I think yes. I think that's those days are definitely not now. Maybe in the future again, but seeing that that people's attention span and focus span is only getting shorter, and at a main stage you also don't have a super dedicated crowd that is just there for that music. They're very often there just to socialize or for bragging rights on their phone for next time they are at a birthday party, like look where I was. They sometimes not always care about the music. And they just wanna turn over quick, party. I don't think that's Mainstage is the right place for that type of breakdown. I think, I think a breakdown that we put in Rise Up right now is probably as long as you can go. It's still there's still a lot going on. It's a breakdown, but it's energetic enough. It keeps its energy. But that's my take on it. What do you think, Ruben?
No, I agree with that. I think in these times that people don't really have patience anymore for longer breakdowns, or you see it also. That's the only thing that I have against, not this track, but against, let's say, the new wave of artists, that there's not a lot of space for happy emotions anymore in tracks. Like the melodies are literally 1-2 bars, that's it. So I think if you find the right balance, like we actually have with Rise Up, we have a longer melody, which is still building into something. But I think like the whole orchestras and stuff like that, that's for this moment, maybe it comes back. Yeah, you never know.
Yeah, I guess unless you talk about a very dedicated type of, festival main stage, a Luminosity, where that crowd definitely wants those breakdowns. There, of course, that works there. But if you're talking about, let's say, the Tomorrowlands or the EDCs of the world, right? I doubt that, honestly.
Yeah.
Next question comes from J2Cool4U. He asks, which software did you use to produce Rise Up, as in DAW? For those who don't know, DAW stands for Digital Audio Workstation. Yeah,
I've been running Cubase here for, I can't even remember how long, since Atari days. Nice. Made a quick switch to Logic for a while. But I guess as a Cubase lover, you just don't really can find the logic in Logic. So went back to Cubase and been there ever since. And that's the staple here. Running Ableton alongside it as well. So, But yeah, as for a DAW, Cubase right here. Yes, for sure.
Ferry, jump in if you have anything to add to this. Favorite memory with Rise Up from Ross, I would say, for me, it would be Luminosity. That was very cool. That was. Yeah.
For me also, honestly, when we finished the track here in the studio, when we felt like, hey, we have something really cool that's gonna work.
Yeah, when Leah was walking by and she told us that we were looking like idiots bouncing to the track. That was true. True. Hugh Henry wants to know how do you transition into a quiet part of the new track? I would say use risers and crashes with delays and reverbs. Leastek wants to know, is there any upcoming back-to-back sets planned? Not as of yet, but maybe in the future again. He or she really liked what we did in Rotterdam. Yeah, me too. It was really nice.
Cool.
Let's see. As an astronaut, Lauachi, as an astronaut aboard the spaceship of Rise Up, where would you go, Ferry?
Let's start with the moon, for now.
And that's the next question. Beyond. Craig Hamilton wants to know, would you like to DJ on the moon? Well, of course, yeah.
Hell yeah. Yeah, man. That would be a dream.
Mironti, how did you come up with the melody? That's something just came about really quickly by first the pattern, and then we started playing around with the melody.
With the melodies, yeah.
Yeah. Ferry, your passion defined trance in the 90s. What are the biggest changes for you from today to then?
If we can go from then to, so like 5, 7, 8 years ago to now again, but instead of from then to now.
The polished part.
The polished part was then. It was in like 8 years ago, and no room to really step out of that when you talk about trance versus now. Now is way more back, like back in the day. The attitude is back in like the late 90s, where exploration was key. Yes, which is fantastic.
Yeah, that's a good one. Miss Trance FR just writes, just want to say both of you, I love who you are and all of your music. You guys are legends. Well, thank you for that one. Yeah, that's it for me. Do you have anything else, Jimmy, to add?
Chris MCG TX Ferry, what do you think about working with Tiesto now that he's getting back into
good
trance?
Question. That's a spicy question.
Yeah, good. A good question. Well, I guess the name of the game of this whole broadcast has been never say never, right? I mean, look, it's cool that Thijs is back with trance, but really, is he? Or is it just another just like play around with the genre for a little bit and then I'll just go with the next big thing again? So I don't know. I first really want to see if that's really true. And is he the trance Tiesto that we all know from back then? I don't know. We'll have to see. But I would love to do another track with him if that's the case. Yeah, sure.
Wow, you heard it first, guys.
I don't know, Ruben. I see something on you saying that you'd like to join in on that venture with Tiesto.
Well, I wish.
Oh yeah.
What was that T-shirt you have?
That's the Super Strings T-shirt. Make Tiesto trends again, and that was something that they did last year. And Maria also said it last year that he will come back to trance, and well, there he is.
Yeah.
So that's I think it's very cool, to be honest.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
it is.
His set was so good.
We really had a couple of other questions, but what we're gonna do is for the ones that didn't make it on air, we're gonna try to put them in on our Discord, and we'll eventually have you, Ruben, and Ferry answer these questions. They could be relayed. I'll message them to you guys, and we can paste them in on Discord.
Yep,
there's a lot more, so much happening with Rise Up, and it's all going to be in the next weeks to come, months, and some special things around ADE. Yep, so of course we're going to keep announcing on socials. And yes, this was like a very random last minute stream, so hopefully we can do a lot more of these things, a lot more behind the scenes, and it was super fun. Thank you both of you for joining in and doing this, and everybody behind the scenes that made this possible.
Yeah,
fantastic. Cool. Thanks everybody for watching and joining us.
Thank you guys, and Jimmy, thank you for setting up all the insane things here again, and for setting up this stream. And also everyone behind the scenes, Ellen